What's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast. Real quick, before I get into this podcast, I want to remind you guys real quick that we charge a fee. It is not money. It is not Venmo me $1,000 unless you want to. The main fee here is that you share this show with a friend, a family member, a colleague, a teammate, whatever it is. Make sure you share the show with them so that we can grow. We don't run ads or anything like that on this podcast. We make sure that you guys get the best possible content to be the best footballer, to be the best person, to be the best leader you can possibly be. So make sure you guys share this show immediately, and also make sure you comment below if you're watching on YouTube, or leave a comment, or what are they called? They're called reviews. Leave a review, okay? Let's get into the show. Today, I'm going to be breaking down to you it's called a creed, something that I learned the other day, and this will be one of those podcasts that changes your life in like 30 minutes. So if you don't have 30 minutes to change your life, change your perspective and all that stuff, just get off the podcast. This is not the podcast for you. This is going to change your life because I know it changed mine. I'm going to read you guys a creed that I listened to on another podcast. I'm going to break it down for you stanza by stanza, and it will not only change the way you play football, but it will also change your life, as I said many times. So let's jump into this. I think this is going to really, really help you guys out, especially as we go into 2023. But that's why I made this the second episode of the podcast, because I want to start off with a crazy, crazy life-changing podcast, and we're going to jump into it right here. So a little bit of background information. Chad Wright was on a podcast that I love to listen to. It's called the Real AF Podcast by Andy Frisella. And he came on the podcast and he really left a powerful, powerful message that I'm going to break down for you guys right now, and that you can apply to your life and to your football. Okay, so let's just jump into it. I don't want to talk anymore, because this thing is a game changer. Okay, so if you listen to this on the podcast, if you're watching this, whatever it is, this is going to change your life. Ready? He starts out by saying, in times of distress or uncertainty, there is a special breed of person ready to face any challenge and prepared to accomplish any mission, a common human with an uncommon desire to succeed, forged by adversity. Let's break that down real quick. The reason it stuck out to me so much is that the first part is, in times of distress and uncertainty, when everyone else is running, when you're 2-0 down in the game, and everyone has their head down and they don't want to play anymore, or the coach is yelling at you, and you just feel like it's just not going your way today. It's just not, it might be raining, it might be snowing, it just might not be your day, right? You have to look at, are you that person? Are you that person? And I'm here to tell you right now that you are that person. You have to be. You have to be. You cannot let your teammates down. You cannot let your family down. You cannot let yourself down. You cannot let your future self down. You have to be that person. In times of distress and uncertainty, there is a special breed of person ready to face any challenge. Are you ready to face any challenge? Like, I'm genuinely asking you right now. Are you that person that's ready to face any challenge? A common human with an uncommon desire to succeed. You are just a normal person. I'm just a normal person. There's nothing special about me. There's nothing special about you. Despite what your parents tell you and, coaches in the past have told you, there's nothing special about you. So a common person, just like everyone else, with an uncommon desire to succeed. Do you have an uncommon desire to succeed, or do you have the same desire as everyone else? Right? I'm asking you genuinely, do you have the desire to succeed, or are you just like every other person when it comes to what they want? What do you really want? Do you have an uncommon desire to succeed? And then the last part, forged by adversity. You do not get this uncommon desire to succeed just by sitting at home, just by taking it easy, just by when it's cold out, I'm not going to run today, I'm going to take my time. I'll do it tomorrow, all this stuff. You want to take the easy way out, and I'm here to tell you right now, based on this, you have to sharpen yourself through adversity. You have to go through the hard times. The games that are tough, the games that are difficult, are the games that you have to have. The training sessions that are tough, the injuries, the sickness, all that stuff, you have to go through tough times in order to have that uncommon desire to succeed. The next part, I accept the responsibility that is bestowed upon me, and I understand that my chosen way of life is a privilege that must be earned every single day. So are you willing to accept the responsibility that it takes to live the life that you have? If you have legs that work, if you have arms that work, if you have a brain that works, and you have a functioning body, Chad Wright talks about in this podcast, he talks about a friend of his that got paralyzed from the waist down. He got on a treadmill, Chad Wright got on a treadmill and ran for 24 hours straight. And the reason that he did that is he wanted to raise money for his friend that lost his legs. And he had one thing written on the tape in front of him. And he said, do this for those who can't. Do this for those who can't. You are playing football because some of your friends gave up. Some of your friends got injured. Some of your friends, you might be watching this, some of your friends might have passed away and cannot play the beautiful game that you want to play and that you are currently playing today. Guess what you have to do? You have to wake up every single day and accept the responsibility that you have, because you have the responsibility now to play the game and work as hard as you can every single day, because they can't. Right? And that's why I make content. That's why I do the things that I do, because I accepted that responsibility every single day, became a professional footballer, and now I accept the responsibility for the kids that didn't have the great life that I had, the great family, the great opportunities, all the things that I had that I took advantage of. I'm doing the content and I'm doing the podcast. I'm doing all these things for those kids. For those of you that are watching and listening to this podcast, I accept the responsibility. So do you accept the responsibility that is bestowed upon you? And do you understand that your chosen way of life is a privilege? You are not owed this life. You are not owed the life of a professional footballer or a footballer at all. There are players out there who can't play the game anymore because they got injured. There are players out there who can't play the game anymore because they don't have the financial means. There are some players that have lost their lives in war-torn countries or in freak accidents that were not able to play the game, that wish that if they were alive today that they would be playing the game still. So you have to accept the responsibility, and you have to accept that responsibility every single day. This was powerful stuff, man. Literally, this kind of stuff that I was listening to, that he was talking about, really changed my life. And I read this, I try to read this every single day. And he talks about this. Well, I'll keep going, but it comes up later. Okay, so the third part is, I will serve with honor on and off the battlefield. So on and off the field, I will serve with honor. What does that mean? What is honor? Honor means that you uphold your values no matter what. Okay, so whatever your values are, whether that's you believe in hard work, you believe in honesty, you believe in doing the right thing, you have to be able to do that on and off the field. If you believe in giving everything you have to something, you have to do that on and off the field, on and off the pitch, in your relationships, in your work, in your spiritual life, all these different things. You have to be willing. You have to be willing to live that life with honor, right? And I know this is not what you expect on a football podcast. This is not what you expect, but this is what you have to have. You have to understand these things, and you have to live this life, right? And if you guys want the full transcript of this, look in the description or the show notes. I'll leave a little Word document to this if you wanna read it word for word. I will serve with honor on and off the battlefield of life. The ability to control my emotions and my actions, regardless of circumstances, is what sets me apart. I'm going to repeat that because this is what got me. Now that I'm reading this is the part that got me. To control my emotions and my actions, regardless of circumstances, is what sets me apart. Regardless of what's going on, regardless of what other players say, regardless of what my parents say about me, regardless of what coaches say about me, regardless of the circumstances. It's cold out. We're losing 2-0. The referee gave me a yellow card 3 minutes into the game. Whatever it is, I'm coming back from injury. I don't feel fit. You name it. But regardless of circumstances, I control my emotions. I control my actions. Regardless of circumstances. Do you control your emotions regardless of circumstances? Do you control your actions? Do you control your thoughts and your emotions regardless of circumstances? Or do you let the circumstances get the best of you? Regardless of circumstances is what sets me apart. That's the difference between me and other people. Uncompromising integrity is my standard. My character and my honor will be steadfast. My word is my bond. When I say I'm going to do something, do I do it? Do I make sure it gets done? Do I make sure that everyone who's depending on me knows for a fact that I'm getting it done? The next part. I expect to lead and be led. Okay? I expect to be in charge of some sort of situation. I expect people to look at me and me to take over the situation and tell them what should be done. In a game, 2-0 down, my captain gets injured and goes off the field or whatever. Who's going to stand up? Are you going to stand up? Or are you going to look around and hope that someone else stands up and hope that maybe we come back in this game? Do you stand up when the going gets tough? Or do you shy away? Do you go crawl in a hole like everyone else? What do you do? Not what does your coach do? Not what does your captain do? Not what does, our best player do? What do you do? Whether you're on the bench or on the field, what do you do? Do you stand up and you take advantage of this moment and you show that I am a leader? I expect to lead and be led. I expect to take instruction from my coach. I expect to take instruction from players on the field. And I also expect in times of tough moments that I am the one that's leading as well. I expect to lead and be led. In the absence of orders, I will lead my team and I will accomplish the mission. What's the mission when you go out? Is it to win or is it to just not lose? Is it to win or is it to play my best? Is it to win or is it to work hard? There's a huge misconception nowadays that if you work hard, you should be proud of that. No. If you work hard and you lose, you have to go back to the drawing board and figure out what you did wrong. Because working hard is not good enough anymore. Working hard is not good enough anymore. We have to be winners. We have to dominate and we have to be the best. Because this is the thing. If I am not the best today, I'm going to go back, I'm going to learn, I'm going to improve, and then I'm coming back the next day. And I will be the best. I do not give up. So let me read that one more time. I expect to lead and be led. In the absence of orders, I will lead my team. I will accomplish the mission. I will lead by example in all situations. The word all is in there. It's not just sometimes. It's not in the things that I feel like I'm great at. It's not during when it's sunny out. It's not all these things. It's all situations. I will lead by example in all situations. Do you lead by example? Do you lead by example sometimes? Do you lead by example when it's comfortable, when it's convenient, when it's the younger players? Let me read that one more time for you guys. I expect to lead and be led. I expect my coach to lead me. I expect other players to help me out and teach me. But I also expect to lead myself. I expect to lead when the going gets tough, I stand up. In the absence of orders, I will lead my team. When the coach doesn't even know what's going on. When the captain is in shock because we just let 2 goals in 4 minutes. If it's raining and snowing and it's a tough day out and everyone wants to look towards the next game or look towards the night out after that. No, I will stand up. I will tell everyone that they need to get their shit together and that we need to come together as a team. The right back needs to do his job. The left back needs to do his job. I'm going to do my job and we are going to win this game. I will accomplish the mission. The last part, I will never quit. I will thrive in adversity. My team expects me to be physically harder and mentally tougher than our opponents. If knocked down, I will get back up every single time. This is a promise that you're making to yourself, by the way. So when you read this, this is a promise that you're making to yourself. Okay? I will never quit, and I will thrive in adversity. My team expects me to be physically tougher. My team expects me to be physically harder and mentally tougher than our opponent. Are you mentally tougher than your opponent? Or are you sitting there thinking, oh, this is a tough game. They're a good team. The left mid is super fast. They really press us. They do all these different things. What about you? Are you mentally tougher than them? Are you physically harder than them? Or you get one tackle and now you're freaking out and you want to get subbed. Let me read that again. I will never quit. Do you ever quit? Let me ask you, do you ever quit? If you're working out and you have a workout program, do you ever stop early? When you go to practice, do you ever tell your coach, Coach, I'm feeling a little sick today? Coach, my ankle's hurting me a little bit today. Going back to that first part, I accept the responsibility that is bestowed upon me, and I understand that my chosen way of life is a privilege that must be earned every single day. Do you come to training sometimes and you're just like, you know what? My ankle's hurting a little bit. Coach, my ankle's hurting a little bit. I think I need to take a break. You have a privilege. There are some players out there who cannot play anymore. They have heart problems. They actually had an ankle injury that ended their career. I have friends who had ankle injuries that ended their career at a very, very young age. I remember those moments. I remember that, you know, one of the best players on our team in college, he had to get his ankle strapped up so tight. I was like, what's the point? Do you even have ankles anymore? And I think about this. He went pro, ended up having to stop playing pro because of his ankles. I look at that and I say, I'm lucky. I'm privileged. I'm privileged to have the body that I have that works. The mind that I have that works. So this is a responsibility. So I will never quit, and I will thrive in adversity. You thrive in adversity, or do you only play well when it's sunny out? If you're a forward, do you only score goals when you're getting a lot of service? Do you only score goals in the big games? If you're a center back, do you only play well when the players in front of you are playing well? Or do you step up when it's time to step up? I will never quit, and I will thrive in adversity. My team expects me to be physically harder and mentally tougher than the opponent. Every single day, ask yourself, am I preparing myself mentally? Am I preparing myself physically to beat the opponent? Or am I taking an easy day off today? If knocked down, I will get back up every single time. He talks about, in that podcast that I was listening to, he talks about a moment when he has to carry a big wooden log.
Down, I will get back up every single time. In SEAL training, one time we had telephone poles. We had them in the front carry position, just like this. Our instructor said, walk and lunge the telephone pole in the front carry position for 4 miles in the soft sand. I got to about 2 miles, and I looked over to my left, and one of my teammates was writhing on the berm. His brain had fried. He ran up 109-degree temperature and fried his brain. I had to keep walking and lunging my telephone pole. I got toward the end of this 4 miles, and my arms could literally no longer hold the telephone pole. And I started to lose it. And I knew if I dropped it, I would fail my teammates beside me that were holding the rest of the weight. And so what I did is I just propped the telephone pole on my shoulder just for a split second so that my arms could recover. And when I did that, I saw a big man. I won't say his name on here, but he was a SEAL instructor. He was about 6'4". He comes up behind me. He grabs me by the collar of my uniform. He lifts me up off of the ground, and he body slams me into the berm so hard that it concusses me. It knocks me out. And when I come back to, I'm looking around, and he's standing over top of me. That man didn't care that I put that telephone pole on my shoulder. That's what I thought. You know what that man wanted to see? He wanted to see if he could humiliate me in front of my entire team. He wanted to see if he could make me look about this freaking big. And then he wanted to see what my reaction to that would be. Would I get back up? And the reason that Chad Wright is sitting here right now talking to you on the Real AF podcast is because Chad Wright mustered whatever strength that he had left to claw his way back onto his freaking feet and pony up on that telephone pole. And guess what? That instructor never screwed with Chad Wright again because he knew that I could hold the standard. That no matter how many times I was knocked down, that I would muster enough strength to get back on my feet and get in the fight.
He will not quit. He said every single time, I will get up. I will not be knocked down. I will not stay down. I will always get back up. So let me ask you one more time. If you need this thing, if you need this written out, check the link below in the show notes and all that stuff. But let me ask you one more question. You've listened to this podcast. You might get the little piece of paper at the end, but will you do it? Okay, 2023 is such an important time. 2023 is going to be an amazing, amazing year. If you make it that, if you choose right now to not give up, no matter how tough it gets, no matter the situation, will you stand up? Will you lead and be led this year? What's up, guys? Thank you so much for watching this show. If you got any value whatsoever, make sure you guys send it to a family member, teammate, friend, whatever. Help us grow the show. Send it to someone. Pay the fee. See you guys on the next episode.